Hi, I'm Wayne Bueller with Automation Tech Tools, and we want to do a quick video on some transmitter cover maintenance. These transmitter covers come on from the factory torqued with a factory air wrench. Then they sit for a few months, and you try to get these covers off. And I'm starting to get it to move a little bit, but generally they're pretty hard to get off. So most people resort to the old square shank screwdriver, stick that in the slot, then I can get it to move fairly easily. You got to turn them about 1 to 2 turns before they get really easy to turn. The problem with this is it has a real potential for hand and wrist injuries. You could break the glass. This is metal, so it's sparking, and you're usually in a hot environment where you can't have any sparking. If you're a farmer like me, this is probably what you do. After working on a lot of cars and motorcycles over the years, doing a lot of mechanicking, I've learned that you just need to get the right tool for the job. So at Automation Tech Tools, we make a transmitter cover wrench. You can see this side is made to do this 2-slot cover like we have on the front. Then the back side of these is a 6-slot cover, and you just flip the wrench over and it goes right in there on the 6 slots. This is pretty universal, works on most brands of transmitters that are out there. Anything that has a cover 4-inch in diameter or smaller, it'll work on 2-slot, 4-slot, or 6-slot, which covers just about everything that's out there. So again, just to talk about a little bit of the maintenance, once you get these covers on, turn around here so you can see it. The back one is the one that you're taking on and off the most, because that's where all the wiring is. I'm doing it backwards and I can't see what I'm doing. There's a lot of threads, and people kind of complain about why so many threads. In order to make an explosion-proof housing, you have to have that many threads. So you see this one's nice and clean. The O-ring looks like it's in pretty good shape. No real problems here. Generally, when you're working on a transmitter, you're going to set this aside somewhere, and you just got to be careful that you don't drop it, or the wind doesn't blow it off, or sand doesn't blow into it. If you get any sand or any grit, any dirt inside this cover or on those threads, you've got to clean everything before you put it back together, or you're going to ruin your transmitter. So unfortunately, as you can see here, I dropped that one in the dirt. It's got a little bit of sand in it. And if I were to try to put that back on the transmitter right now, it would weld itself to the housing, and you would ruin the transmitter and not be able to get the cover all the way on. So if you get that situation, you have to stop and you have to clean it, and you have to clean it well. So the first thing I would do is I would get this O-ring off and out of the way. I'm going to wipe that down clean, get all the sand off of it, because you can see it's got some on it. I don't want to recontaminate the transmitter. I also don't want the O-ring on here when I'm using contact cleaner or spraying this down with a degreaser, because a lot of those will ruin the O-ring. They'll make it swell and your O-ring will not be any good. So make sure you get it off of there before you start spraying this thing down and clean it. So I've wiped this down, and I'm still feeling a little grit in a couple of spots. You can kind of feel it down in the threads. I can't quite get that out of there. So now what I'm going to do is take my favorite contact cleaner. I'm just going to spray it down and get any of that anti-seize and sand and stuff out of there. That's the stuff that you don't want the O-ring coming in contact with. Yeah, so see how much more dirt I got out of that, how much grease I got out of that. Now it's feeling pretty clean, pretty smooth. I'm not feeling any, maybe a little bit of a gritty spot right there. I'm going to hit that again. Yeah, now it's feeling better. Likewise, if you've got any sand or something blown into the housing, you got to do the same thing over here and clean that. Now that I've got everything nice and clean, I'll reinstall my O-ring. And then you're going to want to put some good anti-seize on there. This is the stuff that we like to use. It's made for aluminum on aluminum, so aluminum threads, which pretty much all transmitters have. And it's a lightweight anti-seize. Now, like all anti-seize, a little bit goes everywhere. You get a little bit of this on your shirt, and it'll wind up in your truck and in your buddy's truck and on your pants. And what I like to do is just put a little stripe on there like that. I don't do the whole thing all the way around. Now, if I had a transmitter where the threads were not anodized like these, I would probably do it all the way around. But with these anodized threads, I found you can just put a stripe on there. Then when you turn it on and off, it'll spread it out for you. So now I'm putting it on with the anti-seize on it. I'll pull it off here so you can see what it looks like after you've spun it on. And you can see it really evenly distributes it pretty well all the way around, and you don't wind up with, you know, big globs of anti-seize everywhere. So now that I've got the cover on, I'll take my cover wrench, tighten it down. I want to get it to the point that my cover goes metal to metal, and it is. I'm metal to metal with the transmitter there, no gap, so that's on there good. Now the question is, do I have it torqued on there properly? The one thing you don't want to do is over torque them. A lot of the guys at the nuclear plants are required to torque them to a manufacturer's spec. So we take our standard cover wrench, we add to that a torque wrench adapter. You can see that just sits in there just like that. Then I can put my torque wrench on it and I can torque it to spec. So we'll do that. I've got my wrench preset. These are recommended at about 150 inch-pounds. So now it is torqued to spec. Again, all of these are available at automationtechtools.com. We've got the universal cover wrench that's reversible. Does 2, 4, and 6 slot covers. We got the torque wrench adapter. We also sell the recommended anti-seize that we like to use on these covers. Thanks for your time.